Hey, Daddy, this is the man of the champions, Bill Alfonso, giving a shout out to something else. Something else, Daddy.
This is Nickel Matara, Great Warrior Wolf, and you are listening to Something Else.
I'm Tony Cini, and you're listening to Something Else.
Hey everybody, it's Rich Palladino, the voice of New England, and you are listening to Something Else with Arya.
Welcome to episode number 251 of Something Else. Feast your ear holes on this week's episode as we take a look at Mid-South Wrestling from December 1st, 1984, and the World Class Championship Wrestling Thanksgiving Star Wars from November 22nd, 1984. My name is Arya, and joining me, as always, is the Taylor to my Allen, it's Trae. Trae, how the hell are you doing today?
Are you just trying to see how badly you can insult me and have me still do the show?
Did you catch the reference at least?
No, I'm fucking stupid, so I didn't catch the obvious reference.
I don't know. I'm not going to make assumptions. To be fair, I was trying to not make it terribly obvious. I did use his shoot name, even though I didn't go to high school with him or something. So how are you doing today? It is December, and I'm going to bet you and I are not currently in the exact same position. I'm currently huddled under a quilt while doing this here podcast.
I'm sitting in a chair.
I'm going to bet the temperature down there is probably a smidge warmer than it is up here.
It's finally been tolerable here.
I'm afraid to ask what that means. It's currently 21 degrees here where I am.
Yeah, we've been having lows in the 40s, highs in the 60s and 70s.
We are lucky if we get to 40 as a high. So,
Well,
I don't think you would enjoy living up here, Trae.
I don't think I would enjoy living anywhere.
Well, we're dragging you along, and I will continue to drag you along for as long as there's still classic wrestling to watch.
We'll see how that works.
So, I think we'll see what happens here. Anywho, so just a reminder of the schedule this week. As you may have heard me say like 2 minutes ago, we're doing the December 1st Mid-South and the Thanksgiving Star Wars show. Next week, we're doubling up on Mid-South. It's the December 8th and December 15th Mid-Souths because World Class is doing a year in review show on December 15th, which means by doubling up on Mid-South next week, we will catch up. We will be 41 years ago this week. And so on December 23rd, we'll be back with the December 22nd Mid-South and World Class and moving forward. And so, yeah, we're off to the races here, Trae. How does it feel to finally catch up? I guess we won't officially till next week, but how does it feel to almost be officially caught up?
Makes the OCD goblins scream a little less loudly.
It makes it a little easier when you have to ask me what show we're watching.
Yeah.
So with that, let's dive into things. Mid-South Wrestling, December 1st, 1984. Let's go to the intro with Jim Ross and our birthday boy. Let's go to that right now.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Mid-South Wrestling. I'm Jim Ross, and I'll be your host for the next 60 minutes, and what a tremendous wrestling program it's going to be. A lot of exciting things to tell you about. Our color analyst here, Joel Watts, who just happens to be the youngest wrestling commentator in America. He'll celebrate his 21st birthday, as a matter of fact, at our great spectacular events in Oklahoma City and in Tulsa on December the 31st. Joel looking down at this tremendous card that Grizzly Smith has put together. a lot of great action, especially some super tag team matches.
Oh, the tag team matches are great, Jim. We've got Hacksaw Duggan and Hacksaw Reed teaming together on television for the first time today. We'll also have Chavo and Hector Guerrero, the Alamo Busters, as they like to call themselves. But the important event today, Jim, is going to be Magnum TA and Terry Taylor taking on Sheik Hercules Hernandez and Ted DiBaise. What a battle that's going to be.
It certainly will be. Plus, ladies and gentlemen, we have some super single action. Superstar Bill Dundee will go against exotic Adrian Street. We've got a North American title match today. The champion Ernie Ladd defending against Master G. Brickhouse Brown will go against Dr. Death. A lot of super action. And we've said many times here that matchmaker Grizzly Smith always does a great job. But we like for our fans to participate with our program. That's why we are the #1 wrestling program in the country. And we want you to get involved in our dream match promotion. And here is how you enter.
All right. So down where you are, Trey, did they ever do the thing where, the first baby born in the calendar year, the parents get some kind of prize or whatever?
Probably.
Okay. Well, they did that up my way for a long time. Like, I remember it was a big deal for the millennium. But if they did that down in Oklahoma, Joel Watts was already disappointing Bill from the day he was born. Born on New Year's Eve, he could not hold on until midnight.
Premature Joel.
Yep. But a happy 21st birthday coming up on New Year's Eve to Joel. Did you have a shot in his honor, Trey?
No.
Damn. Oh well, he's turning 62 this year, so he could have his own fucking shot. So we're gonna have a lot of tag team action this week, and by a lot, I think we have 2 matches. But the most important event this week, the Terrys versus Hercules and Ted DiBaise. And they tell us after the dream match plug that we may see a dream match right here next week. So if the contest is the match that gets the most number of votes is the winner, how are we going to see a dream match next week? Is it going to be the match with the second most number of votes? Is it going to be the dream match?
I'm not engaging about this dream match anymore.
Okay. Well, I do have some bad news. That's scanning through my stuff. That is the only bit of audio I have to play the entire show.
Wow.
So that's different. Anyway, so I know it's Mid-South and it's not Smoky Mountain and you didn't have any entrance music, but thunder rolls and the lightning strikes.
Why? That song wasn't even written in fucking 1984.
I'm sure it wasn't. But Tim Horner versus Dale BC. Joel Watts lies to us. One of the first things out of his mouth is the fans really like Tim Horner. What a lie. Horner won with a side Russian leg sweep, which Watts kind of knew the name of, but said he had never seen before.
Well, he's a growing boy.
Joel or Tim Horner?
Sure.
You gotta love sad Trey sometimes. So this week's replay of last week's stuff was of the end of the Butch Reed versus Buddy Landell match when Doc ran in his football uniform. And that leads to our next match, which is the Doctor of Death, Steve Williams, versus Brickhouse Brown. Brickhouse hit a couple of his world-famous stiff drop kicks. And I gotta tell you, if I was gonna kick a man in the face, I would not choose Dr. Death Steve Williams to kick.
No, I don't think that's a productive effort there.
No. I used to joke that it'd be the one way to fix Shane McMahon's punching problem would be to put him in the ring with Brock Lesnar. Because if you stiff Brock, he's going to beat the holy fucking hell out of you. And sadly, Vince never put his boy in the ring with Brock. They teased it the one time, but thankfully, unthankfully, Vince had a change of heart.
Mm-hmm.
So Buddy and Mr. Mid-South came to the ring with a bucket of paint, Brickhouse went for a flying crossbody, but Doc caught him and pinned him with an Oklahoma Stampede. After the match, Doc thwacked Brickhouse with the helmet for a reverse decision disqualification, and then time stood still here on what is not live television as Buddy Landel could not open up the can of paint. Now, I did start wondering because, like, they kept it on. They did not cut to the crowd. They didn't edit around it. They kept it on Buddy being unable to open up this can of paint for what felt like a good 10 to 15 seconds. Do you think that's what was supposed to happen? That Buddy continues being so incompetent he can't even open up the can of paint?
I kind of felt like that might have been the case, that Buddy was supposed to look like a dipshit here.
Well, the Faces ran in and made the save, which either was the plan or just a really well-timed, ad lib. Any thoughts about this match?
It wasn't bad. While it lasted,
No,
pretty.
no, it wasn't. Uh, I know Brickhouse technically is your winner via reverse decision DQ, but I'd still call it a solid win for Dr. Death Steve Williams here.
He
Even if he
did.
does go home with the. Sorry, go ahead.
He did clobber him in the face with a helmet.
Yes. So we then get the Wrestling Hacksaws, Jim Duiggan and Butch Reed, versus Jacko Victory and Dale Burnett. Apparently, it's a big day for people named Dale on Mid-South Television. This is Butch Reed, at least his third different partner here in the territory. He had Jim Neidhart, he had Buddy Landel, and now has Jim Duiggan. If I'm Jim Duiggan, I'm like, dude, like something else, man, something else.
Something else besides teaming with Butch Reed.
Exactly. Speaking of not teaming with Butch Reed, Joel references Mr. T, which, I mean, I guess T hadn't yet started appearing at the WWF shows yet, but it was still kind of interesting considering what's going to happen in the next couple months, especially since we're going to get to the point, and I don't know if it's right before WrestleMania or right after, but there's a clip that was online that Bill Watts ripped the WWF for putting Mr. T in the main event. So we're going to get to that, I guess. But Joel was being very favorable in his comparison between Butch Reed and Mr. T. Maybe that means Butch Reed should have left for Madison Square Garden to team with Hogan too.
Well, yeah.
Reed pinned Victory and Duiggan pinned Burnett after they both hit their finishers on each other. Now, technically, the referee should not have counted this since at least one set of people were not the legal people in the ring. Trey, did you keep track of who was technically the legal people in this match?
I did not. I'm sorry.
I know. I am very disappointed in you, Trey. I don't know what we're going to do. But it's actually like tomorrow on TNA, spoiler alert, they have two different tag team matches, and for 90% of the match, they try to treat it like an actual tag team match. And then the finish is such a disjointed mess where everyone just runs in and out doing pins on each other that it's like, what the hell was the point of the first 90% of the match?
In a TNA match? I can't imagine.
I know, right? And actually, I make the comparison, and I think this is more about the Abyss Raven match because that ends in a disqualification. The no DQ match that ends in a DQ. That TNA, for better or worse, has inspired a lot of modern day wrestling because there's just no rules in TNA. There's no rules until there are rules. You know what I mean? Like, it's like the wrestlers, and it's not like they're not experienced and smart enough to know better, but it's like instead of trying to get rid of the referee in order to do your wild, crazy shit, you just do it anyway, and it makes the referee look fucking stupid. And especially when the referee then has to call a disqualification afterwards, it's like, oh, what? The attempted murder that happened for the last 10 minutes isn't against the rules, but a guy running in is?
Yeah, that's how that works.
Yeah. Up
Made me
next,
kind
we
of
had North
sad.
America.
Oh, made me kind
Did
of
you say you were
sad
sad?
to see Sean wrestling Chavo and Hector here, and remember that Sean would have locked up with Eddie for the very first time in that Raw versus SmackDown Survivor Series match in 2005.
Well, you skipped a match, but yeah, Shawn Michaels is going to be taking on the Guerreros in about 5 minutes. But
Oh, I
first, we
thought
had it.
I'm sorry, I'm so stupid.
No, you are not stupid. Shit happens. North American champion Big Ernie Ladd versus Master G in a loser leaves town match. Now, it wasn't the official stipulation of the match. It just is the result of the match. But G hasn't pinned someone to win a match on TV in 6 weeks. Since that time, he's beaten Ted DiBiase by DQ and lost his last 3 TV matches, including last week. How did he earn a title match?
Affirmative action.
Everything was airtight back in the day, man. Um, this was not the best match we've ever seen. This might be why Trey was trying to pretend it didn't happen, because not just this match wasn't the best match we've ever seen. This match was actually pretty fucking bad. Ladd is a lot closer to his last match than his first match, and Master G has never been confused with the greatest wrestler ever. G missed what would generously be referred to as a diving football tackle and did the JOB for the big boot and the leg drop.
Brother.
Not good. Not good at all, brother.
No. Mr. G, we hardly knew you.
Hey. He never got married, so he's Master G. I assume that's why he's Master G, because he's never really a master of anything.
Don't think that's how that works, but okay.
I could swear, maybe I'm just making this up. I could swear they told us way back when that an unmarried man was master instead of Mister.
Huh.
Yeah. These are the things that I apparently choose to remember, ladies and gentlemen. This and unnecessary pro wrestling knowledge. Are those any pro wrestling knowledge really unnecessary?
I was thinking the same thing, actually.
Now, Trey, who was Shawn Michaels' tag team partner in this next match?
Terry Falk.
Are you sure? Because whatchamacallit, Boyd Pierce called him Tony Falk, and he is in fact Cowboy Tony Falk, famous-ish of working in Memphis. But yeah, the graphic people refer to him as Terry Falk. I imagine
it wasn't the only time that happened on the show. Joel called Jack Victory Jack Valiant.
I missed that one. Maybe Joel's the mysterious person in charge of all the graphic that we always talk about.
Maybe.
Now, do you think Mick Foley grew up idolizing the Falker?
One bad mother Falker.
He is one bad mother Falker. Now, Terry Falk, by the way, he is no David Falk, who is Michael Jordan's agent, or at least he used to be Michael Jordan's agent. We're informed that Chavo and Hector, Tony Falk and Shawn Michaels are taking on the Alamo Busters, Chavo and Hector Guerrero. We are informed that Chavo and Hector do not like anyone. I assume they like each other, but that is, of course, just an assumption. Now, Shawn Michaels has been getting a good reception from the crowd, but it probably has more to do with him just being a good-looking young man, because he's never been given any reason on the show for the people to care about him. He's just a jobber of the week, and he hasn't had any promo time because, again, he's a jobber. I don't even think he's done an expiration of time match with anybody. I think he's just lost, and lost some more. So the fans have been given no reason otherwise to care about him, except, he's a good-looking guy.
Well, he has obvious potential. He could be the next Shawn Michaels.
Would that make Tony Falk the next Marty Jannetty?
I don't think you want to be the next Marty Jannetty.
It is such an unfair comparison. Like I know it's like Marty had a lot of personal issues, and that's what helped derail his career. But it's like his partner was fucking Shawn Michaels. Like even if Marty Jannetty had like a really good career, his partner was Shawn Michaels.
Oh.
You know,
You said his partner was fucking Shawn Michaels. Wait, his partner was Tammy Fitch?
see, I was gonna be nice and say Whisper. Um, and no, wasn't Shawn also dating like the makeup girl at one time? I could swear,
Probably.
but yeah, Shawn Michaels. You know, hey, maybe Diana Smith had a point. Shawn Michaels was a fornicator. Um,
You're making Diana look like a hooer.
that is my favorite Jim Cornette story. Making Diana look like some kind of whore. Oh God. I would have loved to be a fly on the wall when Stu called Vince to complain about what Bruce Pritchard is doing. Oh my God. So, have you been on YouTube much the past few days?
uh, I mean, the usual amount.
So I don't know why, because I've never listened to the Bruce Pritchard show, but for some reason, a clip of him has been popping up on my feed all week long that he claims, and again, it's Bruce Pritchard, so anybody I think with a brain can take everything he says with a grain of salt. But he claims that at WrestleMania 9 in 1993, Hulk Hogan wanted to work with Dusty Rhodes.
I I don't believe that at all.
Yeah. I, I don't believe that Bruce Pritchard's name is actually Bruce Pritchard for how little truth comes out of his mouth. And I don't even think like he's purposely lying. I think he just thinks he's telling the truth. You know?
Uh, what's the word for that? Delusional.
There you go. Um, by the way, in case you're curious who won this match, Chavo Classic pinned Tony Falk with a double suplex. And according to JR, Chavo and Hector have been in a number of tag team matches. And so I looked it up to cage match, and up to this point, they've been in exactly 109 tag team matches, and out of a grand total of 179.
Well, that is a
So
number.
yes, we are closer to their last tag team match than their first tag team match. We then get a non-title match between the champion of television, Bill Dundee, and exotic Adrian Street with Miss Linda. This is a rubber match. Both men have a victory over each other in the past few weeks. And we are told, and I had to laugh, because we were told that this was a standby match. And then we were told that the Terrys versus Herc and Ted DiBiase is next. So that will only happen if this match does not go to the expiration of time, which I guess there were like 15 minutes left in the show. So the odds of that happening were really low. But I had to laugh that one of the big main events of the show was an expiration of time match.
Well, yeah.
Uh,
What are you gonna do?
I love Adrian Street. I
He,
love Adrian Street so much. It's sad that this is it for him, um, because honestly, I I'd like to think any serious wrestler was already doing this, but if you're a wrestler right now and you're trying to be a heel and you want to learn how to be a heel, you need to watch exotic Adrian Street matches. He is literally standing in front of the referee, cheating right in front of the referee's face, and the referee looking right at it does not see it. And it's not because the referee was stupid. It's because Adrian managed to pivot everybody in such a way that he is cheating blatantly and the referee doesn't notice it. I was fucking loving it. I was marking out for exotic Adrian Street more so than usual this week.
now is this
Um,
it for Adrian? Because they did. Well, no, go ahead.
That's where I got confused. I didn't watch next week's show yet, but according to Cage Match, this is his last new TV match. But they announced that next week we're gonna have a TV title match with Bill Dundee and Adrian Street. And when I looked, there were two house show TV title matches that he had, so it's possible we're gonna see one of those.
Well, as we know, the only TV champion who was man enough to be a fighting champion on television was Adrian Street. So if
Yes,
anybody else is defending the television title, it's got to be in a house show.
very true. By the way, Adrian Street, going back to what I was saying earlier, was doing such a great job of distracting the referee right in front of his face that former referee Jim Ross had to note that he was cheating right in front of the referee, and the referee didn't see it. Dundee was knocked out of the ring into the lap of Miss Linda. The finish was kind of weird here because she tried to spray Dundee with hairspray, and it's like, I guess what happened was he ducked and also pushed her hands up because she sprayed Adrian Street right in the face with the hairspray, and Adrian's head was a good head above Bill Dundee's head. So it wasn't just, though, he ducked and went straight into his face.
Yeah,
And then the tough little Aussie won with a roll up.
indeed.
Yep.
To set up Dundee defending the title against Street next week, apparently.
Yeah. So and Cage Match has been wrong before, but unless unless Cage Match is wrong, this is his last match at the Irish McNeil Boys Club. He's in the territory until the middle of December, but yeah, this is supposed to be his last new TV match.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. So we then get our I guess it is our main event. It's the last match here. It is Terry Taylor, who is a little bitch, a stooge, and a degens, along with Magnum TA versus Sheik, Hercules Hernandez, and Ted DiBiase with Mr. Mid-South. This could be a main event anywhere in the country, which is why it's the third standby match. I'm pretty sure Joel was drinking, heading into this match, because in this match with Hercules Hernandez, Joel says this is a match with four great technical wrestlers. And keep in mind, he said this while Hercules was laying forearms into Terry Taylor.
Very, very technical forearms.
Yes. It was an Old Glory forearm to the back. And by the way, Joel, who, as Boyd Pierce famously said, you're not supposed to be using the commentator position as a sounding board, tells us that he hopes Terry Taylor and Magnum TA win. How incredibly biased can one announcer be?
Very blatant. Very blatant.
They get the heat on Terry, Allen, that is, and JR tells us that we can see action like this at the live events. And I think problem like that is like why, promoters for so long balked at putting good matches on TV. Because if I'm watching action just like this on free TV, why would I pay to go watch it in the arena?
I don't know. I feel like you go to live wrestling because you want to go to live wrestling.
True that. So Terry Taylor got the hot tag and ran wild. We got a neat little finish here where DiBiase loaded his glove, and when Taylor did a leapfrog over Sheik, he knocked Taylor the fuck out for the win. I liked the finish. I thought it was cute and a little creative.
Yeah, DiBiase knocked out Taylor with the glove, and then Hernandez put him in the Shinnomaki for the referee stop.
I actually did not write that. I wrote for the pin, but he didn't. It was, in fact, the Shinnomaki.
It's a good thing that DiBiase came back to the territory right as the Midnight Express left, or the average wrestling quality on the show would have dropped a lot.
Yeah, and DiBiase does help balance that one out here. It also helped that losing Junkyard Dog. We really, by default, we raised up the average wrestling quality on the show.
You said it.
I didn't ask you your match about well, it wasn't, I guess, a TV title match. It was it was a match with the TV champion.
Yeah, I also love Adrian Street, and I'm sad if this is the last of them.
Yeah. Um, so they end the show by telling us what we kind of mentioned earlier, is that we're going to have a TV title match next week with Bill Dundee and Adrian Street for the title, as well as Butch Reed versus Ernie Ladd, the Rock and Roll Express versus Hercules and Ted DiBiase. Brad Armstrong will definitely be here, as will Private Terry Daniels of the Cobra Corps.
Maybe it'll be
That's going to
Private
be
Tony
fun.
Daniels.
You could team with Sergeant Falk. Um, by the way, have you seen this whole thing with Netflix and WBD and Paramount?
Yes.
I, I mean, that could be interesting to see how. Well, it's going to be interesting to see how it plays itself out. Um, because Paramount is trying to. I don't know how you can force a sale. If somebody doesn't want to sell to you, but Paramount is trying to force a sale for the entire company, admittedly for more money than Netflix is offering, just for the Warner Brothers library and HBO Max and all that. But I smell a month-long court case in the future here.
Yeah, hidden capitalism, wonderful.
Indeed. Do want to extend our best wishes to the family of the other Steve Regal. This was Mr. Electricity Steve Regal and not William Regal. Um, this was a gentleman who wrestled in the 80s in the AWA. And when we mentioned a few weeks or a few months back that Jimmy Garvin was in the AWA teaming with Steve Regal, this is the Steve Regal that we were talking about.
Something happened to him. I haven't heard this.
He passed away on July 20th,
That's,
and it just came out this week.
oh, well, that's slow news.
Yep. And look, I'm scanning through the daily update of the Observer to see if anything else is going on. Becky Lynch is still doing her boycott of Raw, which okay. Um, let's see here. Ricochet is going to be wrestling on Rev Pro soon. And by soon I mean Sunday in Cardiff, because I guess whatchamacallit, um, what the hell was I trying to say? I don't know. Oh yeah, Collision's in Cardiff, but I don't know when. I guess I don't know if they're taping it Saturday or not, but Collision's in Cardiff this week, and I guess Ricochet's sticking around an extra day or two.
I just opened
Um,
Twitter and there was somebody, "What's your biggest dream match?" And somebody quote tweeted it with two photographs. And I would pay so much money to see this match. Logan Paul versus New Jack.
See, since you mentioned Ricochet, I'm sitting here like, man, imagine Ricochet versus Mike Bailey. That would be great.
That would be a Lulu.
And I bet at some point it's going to happen too.
Definitely, probably.
All right. So that was Mid South. And I don't want to say it's shorter than usual Mid South. I mean, it was, but we also didn't have 40 minutes of audio to play this week. But part of the reason why we wanted to get through that one a little bit quicker than we may usually have is because we have an extra long world class this week. It is the Thanksgiving Star Wars from November 22nd, 1984 from Reunion Arena in Dallas, Texas. Now, I guess I should have realized what this was going to be ahead of time. To be honest, I didn't really look that closely, but more or less, this was two episodes of World Class in one. You know, I whomever edited together, like I'm pretty sure they just edited in the correct order the way the matches happened that night, because the commentary, as it's wont to be in cases like this, is a little wacky with Bill Mercer talking about different things that have happened that we haven't seen yet.
Yeah, it was confusing.
Yes. And I'm trying to look up if there's anything on this show that we didn't see. Um, so Bobby Fulton defeated El Diablo Grande for some reason before the tag team title match. And just scanning through the rest of the matches, everything else we saw. Okay, so this was November 22nd, 1984, in Dallas, Texas, Reunion Arena, drawing 15,325 people. And I thought I was scrolling down to see Thanksgiving Star Wars 85 to see how that did, but it went to Christmas. So let me scroll. Thanksgiving Star Wars 85. They don't drop that much. They go to 13,423 this time next year for a show that seems interesting.
It's
Okay,
exciting.
yeah, we'll definitely say interesting this time next year. Um, and I'm just okay. I guess Thanksgiving does remain a relatively good, even when like things are dropping and falling on their ass. Thanksgiving does remain a pretty decent draw through 87. So, we have that at least to look forward to if we do stick around to World Class that long.
Mm.
Anyway, I'm assuming you skipped the opener, which was Max murdering a pedophile.
Yeah, although I do applaud Max for murdering the pedophile.
Yes. He murdered him so much that we did not see that pedophile any other time on this show, which is a step up because usually anytime he's on the undercard, we have to see him do a run in at some point.
Just have Max murder him at the beginning of every show.
I agree. Or in the main event, so we could just skip the main event every week.
You know,
Um,
with the standard of main events in this company, that wouldn't be too much of a downgrade.
unless we start doing Terry Gordy versus Killer Khan every week. Um, so we go to the opener, which is Nicola Roberts, aka Andre the Lady Giant, versus Stella Mae French with Sunshine. Nicola has Stella Mae's hair that she has dropped into the ring. Now, here are the positives of this. Because again, we're not supposed to know that these two women are trained professional wrestlers. We're supposed to believe that, Stella Mae is Sunshine's aunt who drives a truck, and Nicola Roberts is just some giant woman that Gino Hernandez found out somewhere. So neither was wearing proper wrestling gear. Stella was wearing a pink sweater and blue jeans, looking pretty much like your grandmother. And Nicola is wearing a sleeveless Rod Stewart shirt and leopard print leggings. And the opposite of that is Gino Hernandez comes to the ring in his full tuxedo for immoral support. Which, by the way, even the sides, because again, sun shines at ringside. But then Mike Von Erich skipped down to ringside to uneven the sides. Uh, Now, the word of the day in this match was bang. Bill Mercer told us over and over again about how Nicola was banging on Stella Mae. The finish saw the men fight outside the ring, so Sunshine sprayed, and I quote, something into Nicola's eyes, and Stella Mae won with a schoolgirl. After the match, Sunshine got scissors and threatened to cut Nicola's hair. Gino tried to make the save, so Sunshine tried to stab him. Thankfully, Mike got involved, and ultimately the heels ran away. This is one of those matches when Jim Cornette talks about a girls' match. This is the type of match he's referring to.
Uh, yeah. You said something that made me think just then because I've been wondering, like, it. Stella Mae French was trained by Mildred Burke. Like, how the fuck is she this terrible? But maybe she is intentionally wrestling like a truck driver. Maybe I'm not giving her enough credit.
That's possible. Like I was just chalking it up to one of those, well, women are supposed to wrestle a certain way and not have good matches kind of thing in this era.
Not like
And it's
this, though.
yeah.
Not like this.
Also, I And I mean, I don't know, because again, I've never had a match, and you haven't either. But it's like, if I remember correctly, she hadn't wrestled in like 5 to 10 years. So I mean, it's not like she was wrestling in other territories all over the place, and now coming in for a run here.
Her cage match profile is sporadic, but it doesn't have anything between like 1980 and when this run started.
So I mean, who knows? I mean, and she was old enough that it's one of those things that when promoters are calling around asking for a girls match, unless Moolah is booking herself, it's like they want the younger, prettier girls. And no offense to Stella May, hey, there's somebody for everybody. She's neither younger nor prettier.
She did do a tour of All Japan Women's in like the mid 70s, and I wish that there was footage of that.
I can only imagine what that was like. And any thoughts on this match or about Sunshine trying to stab Gino?
It wasn't good.
Yeah. I was honestly expecting, especially when Gino healed out, that they would cut Nicola's hair. But I don't know if they're saving that or just not going to happen.
I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah. So, in case that match wasn't enough of a match for you, the next match. Now, a few weeks ago, we inducted Chick Donovan into the Something Else Hall of, what did we call it? Total Geeks or something? The Something Else Hall of fucking Geeks. We inducted him for returning from injury and getting his ass kicked in a fair fight versus manager General Skandor Akbar. Well, now we get the match. It is Mr. Mid-South himself with Killer Khan versus Chick Donovan, who walked to the ring with Bronco Lubitsch. Now, technically, Bronco is the referee, but he came to the ring with Chick, which I think is incredibly biased of him. I wrote this match with a 30-minute time limit. This match will not go to a time limit draw, but it went way too close to a time limit draw.
Yeah.
Legitimately, I'm expecting, okay, this match is going to go about 3 minutes. Now, and they mentioned that Chick requested this special challenge match after the recent altercation where, again, Mr. Mid-South beat him up in a fair fight. Donovan attacked him from behind with a rat-a-tat-tat. Khan did not stay at ringside. It turns out while Chick came out with the referee, Mr. Mid-South came out with the person who carries the robes and jackets to the back. Because that's what Khan was doing.
Khan!
They tell us during this match that the Midnight Express and Rippler Oliver are on their way in. Maybe his name should be Rippler.
The Rippler.
Yes. Now, this match went way too fucking long. It went over 8 fucking minutes. And I know, because they've told us a million times, that Ack used to be a wrestler, and he used to be the North American champion in Mid-South, but Jesus H. Christ, he's just a manager now. Especially to these fans who, a lot of these fans just came around in 1982 when, Terry Gordy slammed a cage door on Kerry Von Erich's head. They don't know that General Skandor Akbar was anything but a manager. He should not be having a very competitive 8 minutes with a wrestler, even when it's Chick Donovan, who's essentially, an enhancement guy. And after about 2.5 hours, the coat check guy ran in for the disqualification. Gordy ran in to run Khan off. I don't want to alarm anyone, but the match Akbar had last year with Mike Von Erich was better.
I was thinking the same thing. This was the point that Bill said. You remember that Texas death match from last week? No, Bill, I don't.
Yes, I remember the Ric Flair Chris Adams match from last week. Is that what you mean, Bill? Bill, have you gotten your nap yet today?
Bill.
So, speaking of last week, Trey and I asked, what the hell happened to the PYT Express? Well, they were just warming up and resting up for a tag team title match as Mr. Coco Ware and Mr. Norvell Austin took on American Tag Team Champions, the Fantastics. Well, so I had to laugh because, again, the announcer did make a point to reference which black guy was which, but like the Fantastics, the Fantastic.
I gotta say that watching the PYTs while you're being told that the Midnight Express is coming, it's kind of like eating a peanut butter jelly sandwich and being told that steak is on the way. Like, there's nothing wrong with a PB&J, but I'd rather have steak.
Indeed. Was it here where, oh man, I don't know if I must not have noted it somewhere, but they said Jim Cornette was coming in, but they fucked up his name.
I didn't catch that, but I did hear them mention the Midnight Express at least twice.
Yeah. Um, so white guy number one, played by Bobby Fulton, did not enjoy being beaten up by Norvell. Norvell at one point tried to do a backflip over Fulton in the corner, but either Fulton didn't run close enough to the corner or Norvell didn't flip outwards far enough, as he essentially did a moonsault onto poor Bobby Fulton. We had a four-way, which was just fucking weird. We had some crisscross spots. We were supposed to have two leapfrogs, but Norvell tripped and landed on his face. During this match, they tell us that Abilene, Texas is the gateway to the West. Trey, is Abilene, Texas the gateway to the West?
Nothing I've ever heard. I thought that St. Louis was the gateway to the West.
Yep, that's what I've always heard. But I figured you down there in Texas, you may have more information than I do about Abilene.
There was a point here where you could see Bill Mercer and you could hear Bill Mercer talking, but the Bill Mercer that you could see was not talking.
I was trying to watch my different points, but he had that giant ass headset with the mouthpiece that covered his entire face.
Yeah,
So
there were other times that you couldn't tell, but you got a dead on view of it at this point.
So remember a few matches ago when Nicola was banging Stella May? Well, we were told that Coco was exploding all over Tommy Rogers here. I was so interested in this match that while Norvell did a shoulder breaker, all I could think of was who did a shoulder breaker in 90s WWF as a finish? And if you're out there thinking Papa Shango and Rocky Maivia, you'd be correct. Fulton got the hot tag and pinned an interfering Norvell Austin with a small package. This was another Loser Leaves Town match. We're getting a bunch of those this week.
Oh. Well,
and the PYTs are Gune.
There's a better heel team coming.
Yes, both literally and theoretically. And by the way, to answer another question from last week, Skip Young has left the territory and has gone back to Florida, but he will be back.
Can't wait.
I know you were very, very upset that we may not have Skip Young anymore.
Didn't even notice he was gone.
Niceman King Parsons and the superstar and former World Heavyweight Champion Kerry Von Erich versus Jake Roberts and Kelly Kiniski. We're informed that Roberts is tutoring Kelly Kiniski to, and I quote, be what Jake is. Whatever that is. Yeah. This was a fun little match. The finish was the expected four-way breakout, and while Jake was blocking punches with his face, Iceman pinned Kelly with a sunset flip.
Kaniski's push up the card to designated pin eater continues.
Yep. And Jake, by the way, him, Gino, and Chris Adams are not defending the six-man tag team titles this week. In fact, they're not even showing up with the belts.
Just the disrespect for the championship. I'm appalled.
Yeah. The worst six-man tag team champions ever. Sure. Anywho, we go to the next match. They announced the Texas champion, Gino Hernandez, with Nicola Roberts versus Mike Von Erich in a special challenge match. And this is when I wrote, who was the American champion? Because Gino had both belts there for a while, and I think he lost one to Mike, and then he won it back, and now suddenly he's not the American champion anymore.
Okay, you didn't notice Bill Mercer say like 6 times over the course of the show that Kerry was the new American champion?
But that was in the next match, I thought, because that's when I haven't noted.
He said it several times. I did not keep track of when.
Well, anyway, I didn't hear him say it until the next match, but we'll get to the next match in the next match. During this match, Mike went for a drop toe hold and Gino got sent into Bronco. Mike slapped on the sleeper, but Nicola grabbed him from behind. Unfortunately for the heels, Gino kneed Nicola in the face. It's okay because Gino won with an elbow drop. Mike got his foot on the ropes, but Bronco did not see it. David Manning Von Erich, who's the most biased motherfucker since Joel Watts said that he hoped that the Terrys would win the match earlier, ran in and changed the results of the match to a DQ win by Mike Von Erich. Where is David Manning Von Erich every other time there's interference on this show?
Well, it's only cheating if it's a Von Erich being cheated. You gotta look out for your cousins here.
That's true. Do you think David would have been a more accepted Von Erich than Lance was?
Probably.
We only have 11 months to go until Lance comes in, just so you know. I know you're super excited for that. Yes. So then we get the reason why I really wanted to do this. And the reason why, because usually when we decide to do these, these Star Wars shows or these big events, Trey comes up to me and says, hey, what if we did this one week or whatever? And I'm like, yeah, sure. This is perhaps the only time I've ever gone to Trey and said, hey, we need to do this. Because even though obviously this match would air on TV, I really, really, really wanted to take in the whole entirety of the event so we could watch Terry Gordy versus Killer Khan in a Texas death match with Kerry Von Erich as the referee. Now,
glad that I could accommodate you.
Yes. The match started. The bell rang. These two hosses are having a meat match, and drunk Mark Lawrence interrupted the proceedings to do the full announcements.
Yeah.
And
goddamn, he's going to do his job.
He's going to get paid that night no matter what. I imagine at some point, some match like this broke out, and drunk Mark Lawrence didn't do the announcements, and Fritz tried to stiff him on pay that night because he didn't do his entire job. And so he's like, you know what, motherfucker? I'm going to do my job. And regardless of how stupid it looks, I'm going to introduce every match from now on.
Well, very polite of Ralph Pulley to wait for drunk Mark Lawrence to finish his announcement before ringing the bell, even though the guy had been fighting for like minutes at that point.
Yes. This is when we're told, by the way, that Jim Cornette is coming. And
did you catch who else is coming?
Rip Crippler Oliver in the Midnight Express. Oh no, yeah. Billy Jack Haynes is on his way into the territory too.
Billy Jerk Haynes.
Yes. This is why we have Hercules on the other show. Because we have Billy Jerk on this show. See, we have we have Herc on one show, Jerk on this show, and Bobby Heenan in the WWF. It takes a special world to bring them all together. Yeah. And by the way, this is when I found out that Kerry Von Erich was the American heavyweight champion. So Khan gnaws into Gordy's forehead, and the young Freebird is busted wide open. Khan won the first fall with a middle rope knee drop. Khan got a cut on the forehead after a corner turnbuckle smash. And this is where they know Billy Jax is on his way in. And I wrote, if we started fast forwarding every segment with a verified scumbag, we'd get these shows done in about 5 minutes. Gordy won fall 2 with a pile driver. We got a shot of the crowd when Kerry got to 9, which makes me think that Khan didn't get up and had to be covered up in editing. I think Kerry's been wrestling for a while. I don't think he understands what a referee is supposed to do because, man, oh man, he's counting as fast as he can. It's like,
he also kept getting in the fucking way. Like, it's a Texas death match. They can fight in the ropes.
He's trying to enforce the no rules of the match. My favorite, because Kerry, again, some points in this match, he's doing too good of a job as a referee. Other points, he really sucks. Because at one point, and I didn't write who was covering who, he forgot to drop down to make the count. That's Bronco Lubitsch style of lazy refereeing. Then I did like this finish, like, because you had this total hoss fight, and this whole story going back 6 months was that Terry Gordy went to Japan, and Killer Khan taught him the thumb, the Asiatic spike. It was taught to him by Killer Khan, and now here on Thanksgiving night in Reunion Arena, and the culmination of this big blood feud, Terry Gordy used the very same Asiatic spike to beat Killer Khan with. He put Khan down with the thumb. He got the pin. He would not break it, so referee Kerry Von Erich had to break it up. And then when he got to 8, Mr. Mid-South ran in and interfered and got his ass kicked. And it was announced that, there's no way Khan was getting up and that Kerry made a referee decision that Gordy is the winner based on that. Max ran in, and then Kerry Von Erich of the Von Erich family and Terry Gordy of the Fabulous Freebirds teamed up to run off Max and Killer Khan. Then Kerry offered a handshake, and Terry Gordy did not want to adhere to the code of honor, so Kerry left. Kerry takes the mic and calls his hated rival back to the ring. And just when you wonder what's going to happen next, Terry sticks out his hand, and we get a handshake, much to the crowd's approval. This crowd lost their shit for that handshake.
What a moment.
Yep. Where is the crying female fan from WrestleMania 7 that we could plant in the crowd here to cry here when these two shook their hands?
Yeah.
So I gave this match 6 stars. Would have been 7 stars if it was in a Tokyo Dome, but I think 6 is still pretty good.
Okay.
Any thoughts?
I don't know. It would have been better with less, I don't know, with a fucking actual referee that wasn't in the way and like a not convoluted fucking finish.
Where is David Manning Von Erich when you need him? Where is referee Ricky Hazard?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The one time you need that motherfucker. By the way, Ivar squished AJ Styles against the Raw, the ring. The light board next to the ring these days.
Fucking hate that light
Can you
board.
imagine? Yeah, on the LED board. Can you imagine if Titus O'Neil had slipped and fallen headfirst into the LED board?
Oh God, poor Titus.
Yes. Who was it in New Japan that did that and got fucked up? It wasn't Yoshitatsu. It was Yoshihashi, wasn't it?
It was Yoshihashi. Yeah.
Poor Yoshihashi. But yeah, I love this match. You know, it would have been better with a better referee, but I fucking love this.
Yeah, this
Um,
was quite good for the standards of this territory.
Before the main event, Kevin said that winning is kind of important, but he wants justice. Then we go to the other locker room where Chris Adams was getting a massage from Gary Hart, and he is not worried about idle threats. Adams is like, "Did you see the Cotton Bowl?" Which was so condescendingly great. And he's just like, "I'm just here to win the match. Bill, you know, I don't care what Kevin Von Erich is trying to do. I just want to win the match."
As he should.
Yes. So we get our main event, which was Chris Adams versus Kevin Von Erich. Much like the last match, as the crowd is going crazy for two men punching each other in the face, drunk Mark Lawrence must get his shit in. Um, they fought on top of the announce table, which is, always funny when you see all these announce tables these days fall apart when people look at them. And like back in the day, like people were standing on the tables and there was no fear that thing was going to give way. Um, by the way, they fucked up the audio, and I hope Fritz find his boy for that one. Um, the finish of this match, Kevin went for a monkey flip in the corner. Gary Hart grabbed Chris Adams' tights, and then after Kevin threw himself down on the mat, Adams jumped off the middle rope with a splash for the pin. After the match, Kevin grabbed a chair and the mic, saying he was going to follow through on the promise. Kevin waylaid Adams with a chair, busting him open. Gary had a soap in a sock, but didn't get to use it. Adams got helped out, quote unquote, proving that Kevin is a man of his word, according to Bill Mercer. But I'm like, I don't know about that since Adams was not taken out on a stretcher. And Kevin appeared to agree with my sentiment because he got on the mic to challenge Adams to come back, but Adams did not come back. Adams lived up to his promise. He won the match, but Kevin Von Erich did not live up to his promise, and that was to send Chris Adams out on a stretcher.
This was like a fucking 2-minute main event. And then the post match immediately undid the fucking heat of the match. So this territory fucking sucks.
I don't know. I didn't dislike the post match. I thought it was because, like, again, these fucking feuds go on forever in this territory. So it's like I thought it was a nice way to build to their next rematch, where it's not just that Chris Adams won, it was that Kevin didn't care so much about winning. He wants to put Chris Adams into the hospital, and he did not do that. And so it's like, okay, let's see what happens next time.
They went two
Maybe, and
fucking minutes in the main event of the Thanksgiving show.
I mean, I didn't look at the, when I accidentally looked at the Christmas Star Wars, I didn't actually look to see what was happening. But I'd imagine, in theory, this should lead to something like a cage match where Adams can't get away and Kevin gets to injure the fuck out of him.
In theory.
Well, what's his name has to be leaving soon. Ken Mantell. I think anyway. I feel like when he does leave, he takes like a lot of people with him too.
Uh,
Uh, but apparently this Saturday night at Saturday night's main event, and this explains why Leon Slater got pulled from a show in the UK. It's going to be AJ Styles and Dragon Lee versus Javon Evans and Leon Slater. That could be a fucking banger.
yeah, probably not going to watch it.
Oh, I'm not planning on watching it either. It'll go against my no WWE rule. But that should be a fucking banger. Uh, so now that it's official, Gunther is John Cena's official final opponent. Uh, there is some conjecture over whether or not I think people think Gunther's actually going to win.
Well, of course, because it's fucking WWE and they're stupid.
Eh. And the people who think Gunther's going to win think that not only should Gunther win, Gunther should tap him out.
Sure, whatever.
Okay, great. So what did you think about the World Class Star Wars show? If you had spent your $10 or whatever on a ticket back in 1984, do you think you would have gotten your money's worth from this show? Would you have
I would
left
have
as a
been
happy fan?
I would have been mad that I didn't leave after the Texas Death Match.
I'm sad, I'm mad, I'm mad, I'm sad, I'm sad, I'm mad. Yeah, so I yeah, so that does it for World Class. Hey, we got the show done in an hour and 10 minutes this week. Not even.
Look at us.
So proof that we could occasionally get it done, I guess, if we wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. So I mentioned I asked you this a few days ago. Where are you at in your modern day wrestling watching? I know you're kind of at the end of September. Is that also the same for New Japan?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You got some good shit still to watch. You know.
Never gonna get through all this shit. What the fuck am I even doing?
Well, we'll see how you are for January 4th, so we could do our annual January 4th Tokyo Dome show.
I can't fucking imagine I'm gonna be in any position to do that.
That's all right. We'll figure something out. Anyway, before we finish up, anything else you want to talk about?
No, I don't have anything positive to say about anything.
Okay, great. Um, that also might make it more interesting. We don't have something positive to say, but oh well. We'll be back Thursday, perhaps the shortest Smoky Mountain show we've ever done, because there will not be a lot for us to talk about that day. But again, every single episode gets its own episode, so we'll be here with bells on this coming Thursday.
For
But
like
that's gonna
10
do it
minutes.
here. 10 minutes if we're lucky. Um, so that's going to do it for this week's show. I want to thank everyone for listening. Hope you all enjoyed the show, and we'll talk to you again in 7 days.
Bye.